than the one, the only Purge. We'll head over to him to break down that first game and what went oh so right.
Uh-oh. We can't hear you, Kev.
You should be able to hear
There
me.
we
Hey!
All right. My bad. All right, Enigma is really the name of the game here. The Enigma pick was last moment. The cool thing about it is that it's very greedy, but there's a lot of different ways that it can be good and it can be bad. Number one way that it's greedy is that you're not going to be in lane very often. So because you're not going to be in lane very often, your opponents can exploit some of your other lane matchups, and you only have one support instead of two. The other way that it's greedy is that it's very exploitable if your opponents actually follow it down. And we saw Finem do that against LGD the other day very effectively. So the way that DC reacted to this, they didn't actually run the Undying after the Enigma, probably likely because of the fact that Undying doesn't transition very well after being behind from laning so much. But ultimately, Enigma got a pretty well-timed level 6. Sat in the jungle. Really cool to see the Midnight Pulse killing the neutral creeps and things like that. That was pretty amazing. And the big part is that he actually hit level 6 at around 4.5 minutes, which is pretty standard timing for Enigma. So really, you might think, okay, DC didn't do anything about this, but the way that they actually reacted was interesting. If you take a look at this moment here, we have a scan at about 5 minutes, 40 seconds. They're checking to see if Enigma's there. They scan the place that Enigma is most likely at, which is between those two camps on the jungle. After they scanned for that, they expected him to be there, and what they did is they went to go place an observer ward down on the cliff near Roche. And that's because if you take a look at the map, by the way, just one thing to point out, Sock's only level 3 here on the Warlock. The thing to look at is what they expected was they wanted to group up with their team and push towards the tier 1 tower. That's why they placed the observer ward here on the cliff so that they could actually spot any dire heroes coming this way. So they're actually expecting the Enigma, because he wasn't there from the scan, to come down here and engage in this area. But instead, he actually smoked in the base and ran all the way around and approached from this way. So because of where they expected the Enigma to be and the ward that was in the area, they thought they were going to be all in the clear. But you guys know what happened. It was a black hole and 2 big cores. And this kind of led to the next issue. Because the Enigma was the last pick, the only ways they could interrupt Black Hole was Warlock 6, which they didn't have, maybe a Morphling with Adaptive Strike past the points of level 8, level 9, or maybe Dragon Knight with his ultimate. But because he didn't stun the Enigma there, pretty much everything changed. Got lots more clips. So because of that, they killed the tier 1 bottom, which gave them a big advantage. They killed the tier 1 top, and then they got to this point here with a lasso. And it was a great initiation by DC, but the problem is they didn't actually kill one of those threats. There's so many threats they have to deal with. They have to deal with the Enigma, they have to deal with the Timber Slot, they have to deal with the Nyx Assassin, and that was their initiation. Mech saves them, and they lose Tomb, they lose all of their initiation. So it's basically just constantly them playing from behind. And then all Finem had to do was buy a couple hoods, and any chance of initiation was gone. So just amazingly executed by Finem, and that one big slip up in that bot fight put them on the back foot for DC.
Yeah, I think so too, Ben. Little round of applause there. Purge helping explain exactly why these individual plays, we can say it to no end here on the desk, where Finem were outplaying on a mechanical level, on a skill level, which is something we haven't necessarily always attributed to them, but that is a prime example of the brains behind
the Enigma movement, that was really, really crucial. That fight, I keep highlighting that fight because that fight was actually what set the pace of the game. They expected it, but they didn't realize he was coming from behind. Like, he backstabbed them and he got a big black hole. That was so huge.
The 2 cores being caught in that black hole was
they
just the
scan, they drop a wall. They know he's coming, but they didn't get the right place.
Didn't quite work out for DC, but as we always will never hesitate to remind you, it is just game 1. And game 2 is almost ready to go. It's time for the draft between Finem and DC. And already bye-bye Nega Siren, and the Shadow Demon has been taken away as well.
So same bans as expected from Finem. They want to keep it a fighting game purely. Like, no super late game farmers, maybe 1 or 2, but
Naga and Alk? I thought I couldn't love Finem anymore.
Yeah.
Those change the game completely when those 2 heroes are in the game. So
Dota becomes normal,
Yeah, Dota becomes normal.
Everything becomes standard.
Just in time.
No illusions, and DC are using the same opening. It worked for Finem, the last game.
Yep.
So DC are gonna not reveal
I'm
anything.
not
with
going to
the-
go for another stupid analogy about the Rubik first, Ben.
Do it.
No.
Go for
Come
it.
on, give it.
I've got nothing.
You brought it up already.
It's like, yeah.
Go
you're
on.
I mean, we've said not showing your hand. That's the best I can do. Oh, it's back.
Wow.
It's back. The bounty hunter that brought victory to Finem
The stealth duel.
It brought victory half the time.
50% of the time.
They didn't go for the bat though. I think
Yeah.
that DC probably would have expected them to go for the bat, maybe expecting that they could counter with the Knicks themselves. So
I think at Finem, like they see the Knicks as like a hero that's really good against the bat. Though every time they pick it against bat, and they probably feel like, why do we want to go for the bat when we think that Knicks is going to make life hard for the bat? So why not just go for the Knicks instead?
Yeah.
but then DC just don't even have to pick bat.
Yeah, they don't, but
Knicks is still good.
it's still a good hero.
Double invis though is generally frowned upon. I think
Frowned upon.
it's frowned upon.
Why
just
is that? Just
In
expand
the
upon
halls of Dota.
because in Dota the gems picked up very early by a good team, DC no exception, like
Right.
20-25 minutes, and then you waste two of your most important aspects of these two heroes being able to run around the map invisible, right?
You can see MNT's notes there as well.
Yeah, I agree with Ben. Usually you don't want to see that happen to you, like enemies picking a certain item to counter two heroes at once. But then again, it's their playstyle. They want to have a roamer. Career killer, ward placer, whatever you guys want to call it.
I think that they use the bounty more as a sort of that early game disruption stuff. He goes in there, he does courier kills, he messes with anyone in the jungle. He's just a disruptive sort of behind enemy lines sort of thing, you know.
Yeah,
It's
and
sort of-
he's the only one kind of support that can make any pickoff become more valuable. Any support kill you get becomes like a core kill because of the bonus
because of that
gold.
moolah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Purge.
Thanks, Purge, indeed. The last segment was absolutely great.
It's perfect.
So how do you think they're gonna handle the bounty hunter?
Usually I would always say,
Spirit breaker?
yeah, Spirit Breaker, you charge and you kill him. Or,
Slardar, I think. Oh, he's been banned. Okay. And they've banned Archer as well.
Or really strong lanes?
yeah, or heroes that are, like you pick beefy heroes, like Timbersaw, you have a lot of heroes that are really hard to kill. When Bounty doesn't kill heroes, he doesn't provide his team with that extra gold. But then again, like Pat mentioned, Bounty could still be that scouting hero. He doesn't have to like kill you. He's just like there to disrupt you, place deep wards and annoy you.
I think there's a lot of options though for Digital Chaos. I think even something like the Treant Protector is very good versus the Bounty Hunter. You don't really need tanky supports if you have the
That
Treant
is true.
Protector to deal with your lanes. So I think that's definitely one of the heroes that Digital Chaos have prepared for. I'm just curious to see which one of the strategies they're going to use to counter it.
Treant Protector, yeah. I like that suggestion. And you're able to just make sure that when they're speed pushing, they don't get your towers because you kill your towers. That's actually one of the heroes I find very interesting when to pick the hero, you know, what kind of team you pick that hero into. Like EG chose to pick that hero against VP and it worked out great for them. And we see the Ogre pick right now for at Finem. So
Do you think that's because Bounty's going to be off doing things? They chuck the Ogre in to sort of solidify
the
the
lane, the
lanes a
safe
bit while
lane.
he's off?
Mm-hmm. Well, we know what the damage Blue Fat can do. The most picked hero so far in the Boston Major by quite a
More than
margin.
SD?
Indeed. Magi #1.
Oh, if we count the group stages?
This is the entirety of the
Right,
offline
right.
stages of the Boston Major, not here at the playoffs.
They have two melee supports though. I mean, it's not that uncommon. Some teams do the safe lane Ogre, but it's still very good in the lane, very good at zoning. And DC still sticking to the same game plan like the previous game. They are building a 5-man lineup. They are not going to deal with the split push. That's the thing, you're up against a Bounty and a Nyx. Whoever gets left alone on the lane, very high chance to get picked off. You want to group up, you want to just push down towers. You don't want them to get picked off with the track goal.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I have just double-checked. In the playoffs, Ted, Magi is nowhere to be seen. It seemed to be a very popular pick when people were playing those safe group stages, didn't want to show too much.
So he hasn't been played on the main stage?
Not, well, he has been, but not much
Oh,
at
wowzers.
all. Tide
That's,
Hunter, Sniper.
That's something that they did in the group stage twice. Casting their games, they opened their draft with Ogre plus Sniper.
What's the thought process behind Ogre Sniper?
Bloodlusted Sniper.
Just a bloodlusted
Yeah,
sniper just firing damage upon everyone?
We saw VP do it. Just they took it a little bit more extreme with the Bloodseeker.
Yeah,
But
and Sniper is also pretty good at defending, and you know the enemy wants to 5-man and push your tower. You're able to deal damage from a very safe distance. Very good against the Tide, the Juggernaut. They don't really have like innate closing, gap closing ability until they get a dagger. Bloodlusted Sniper could deal a lot of damage in the fights if you don't address him.
Bloodlusted Sniper with two
with track, you know.
Invisible people running around.
Yeah, he has a lot of heroes that will provide distractions for him. So pretty good sniper pick here for Finem.
Especially when they picked their offlaner, like Clockwork and some of the other offlaners, Bat, I think are like really good at dealing with the sniper and forcing him to
Tide
come
is
to
not
you.
that good.
Yeah, Tide, he can't close the gap. Like if he blinks and ravages, like the team isn't going to be able to get to him.
So what do you think the thought process was behind DC? It's not like it wasn't an option.
Yeah, they wanted a 5-man.
Yeah,
They didn't see the sniper pick.
they want to group up.
Yeah, just similar to how they picked Warlock in the first phase in the last game. They want to have more 5-man strength, especially versus Bounty Hunter, as Winter mentioned.
Trying to ravage him.
Who would you say, like, how are Finem going to fight this? I mean, what's their front line going to be? How are they going to disrupt DC from just walking towards them, just using the Nyx and shrapnel and just trying to hold them up?
And pickoffs, like you want to split them up, and I'm sure their last hero is going to have some sort of wave clear.
Wind Ranger.
Wow,
Yeah, that's a Weeha special though. He likes playing the hero. That hero does have a good amount of burst to kill sniper if he gets the shackle on him.
Can have that early game impact. If he can find abilities to contest the Earth Spirit's rotations, find couriers, I can't imagine he'll find another courier snipe, but who knows, this guy's just seems magical. If he gets the scouting information, this game can go okay for Finem in the early game, but I think there's a lot of pressure on him, whereas DC have very stable lanes. They have 3 cores that should all be able to get some decent farm in their lanes. We have Wind Ranger, a classic. Resolution should do fine on the jug. I think DC have the more kind of stable, easier to execute draft.
Maybe next time has certainly outperformed in this tournament as a 4 position. He has been in probably the most disruptive player of the whole entire tournament. We'll see if he can do it again with his Bounty Hunter. I'm sure Digital Chaos are watching those games, and they'll be a lot more careful with their couriers. But maybe next time, he's going to try and outplay it. Digital Chaos are going to start lining themselves up